I'm gonna make Ron DeSantis get rid of all the fucking mermaids around here, or he's gotta go.
It's comedy. Yeah, metal. Yeah.
Let my hair down for this one.
Oh, it's looking wonderful.
Thank you.
Brad's got some luscious locks, ladies.
Lots of love. And lots to love.
Hell yeah.
Flesh.
So we're back. This is the Comedy is Metal is Comedy podcast.
Is comedy.
Where there are no rules,
Gotta work on that timing.
no plans, and no
Is comedy.
and not a lot of jokes or metal. So what's up, dude?
What's up? So, yeah, it's been a little while since we last convened for this.
Yeah. And this should be a good podcast because I'm annoyed. Mad podcasting is always better than happy podcasting.
Starting off annoyed is always the
Yeah.
way to start a podcast. So what are you so annoyed about today, Mario?
Well, I had this whole I got this 8 fucking thing. I got this, this 8.
Let me explain to the listeners. So we started out the podcast using a 2-channel Scarlett,
thing.
whatever it's called.
Thing.
And basically Mario has bought a Behringer 8-track thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to use it, and he's very mad about it.
It has a lot of buttons.
But next episode, we're going to be having a laptop connected. We play some clips.
Dude, I had this whole fucking idea where I got these 8 tracks, right? So we could fucking have, first of all, we could have multiple people on, we could have guests on, we could have guitars plugged in if we wanted to give each other little guitar challenges or what the fuck ever. And then we could have lines in from another laptop where I am planning on having a soundboard so we can do
yes.
doing and wah wah.
Okay, honestly, we hadn't talked about this before the show, but that's the exact thing I would want out of
Hell
a
yeah.
laptop. So that's perfect, man. That's a great idea.
So I was gonna do a trial run today with the line coming from the laptop just for song clips.
Are we going to make our own soundboard, or are you going to try to use a different one?
We can do mix and match.
we
bro.
got to start collecting sounds that we like.
Well, I'm full of sounds I like.
All right, go make a sound you like. That's pretty good. I like.
Dude, and we got to do. I know it's been done a million times, but guitar squeals,
Oh yeah,
different kinds of guitar
Yeah.
squeals,
and like the air horn. Ear.
yeah, a whammy dive or something. Yeah,
Gotta have that thing right there and just hit it.
oh yeah,
The air horn,
yeah. So, but I was just gonna have a line in just to be able to hit a button and listen to a clip if we wanted to listen to a song or something, and the fucking thing didn't sound right. We were listening to Weird Al's "Living in the Fridge."
Yes.
And it was coming through all shitty. So we're not doing the line in. I gotta see if it's an equipment thing or a me thing.
I think it's an adapter issue.
Could be user error.
The 1/8 inch plug needs to turn into a 1/4 inch, and the 1/8 to 1/4 adapter seems to be crusted.
Well, isn't that the story of all of our lives? And then we have
Crusted.
should I be hitting the SPDIF or the ADAT?
Yeah. So here's our first item for the listeners. Email us at bradmariopod@gmail.com.
Yes.
And tell us, what is the difference between SPDIF and ADAT? SPDIF, ADAT. There's a button on this Behringer thing, the 8-track thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we don't know what it does. So if someone could Google that for us and give us a nice little report, we'd really appreciate it.
There's a lot of buttons. I don't know what most of them do. I know that we are not instruments. We are people. We are human beings. So the instrument button is off. I know
We are
that.
human people beings.
Yes.
So anyway, now that we have our new setup set up, we can at least do our episode.
Yes.
We can do the old school.
Well, this is the
way one more
episode.
time.
This is the episode.
This is it. No,
Yeah,
no
this is
sound
it.
clips though. No.
We'll do so. We could edit. I could edit in sound clips. It
The
just
bells
means,
and whistles are coming though.
Yes,
That's what
there
we're
are going to
saying.
be bells and there are going to be whistles.
And they will be a coming.
So I in editing previous episodes, I've learned that I say way too much and I say way too much. And there was a clip that I cut out where literally, I don't know if fucking whatever I was drinking just kicked in or whatever, but I was trying to say something and I literally said like, well, like, and then I said whatever the fuck I was trying to say.
You notice you say fucking a lot too.
Yeah, that's better than like,
What do you like? I like
fucking, but fucking, like,
well,
fucking,
I like fucking. I like fucking.
So I'm hoping that let me just get all the likes and ums out of the way. Like 'em. This is a good podcast.
This episode is called Like Fucking.
Fuck yeah. So
let's get into the metal and comedy world.
fuck yeah. What's going on in metal and or comedy?
Not much. Not much. I haven't.
So you like Lorna Shore now, right?
Yeah. We established that from the previous episode. Recently, though, I haven't been to any shows,
Well,
comedy or metal. It's been kind of a dry couple months.
well,
for
what the
me.
fuck, man? You were gonna go to Deicide, and you just
I was.
decided not to go.
I decided against it. That was a good show too. It was Deicide. Can I think of the other band names? No, Cataclysm I think was on it, and there's another band. Jeremy Kling and the dudes from The Absence, like half those dudes, and like they started some other band.
We need a Jamie. We need someone to Google stuff for us.
Yeah.
But
It's like a death tribute band kind of. What was the
oh,
other one?
was it like
It's not gruesome,
the thing that toured at
but it's another new.
Yeah, they
kind of-
went. Was it the same thing that went to like the Brass Mug recently?
I think so. Maybe I'm getting things confused. I don't know.
I don't know. But
Hey, shout out to that new band whose name I can't remember.
But you
Sure
were
it's
telling
great.
me you got tickets to something else coming up.
I did. I have secured tickets, general admission tickets
Ooh,
to
boy.
see Merciful Fate
Oh shit!
in November. So yeah, Merciful Fate, Creator,
Oh,
And-
on that tour
and
Sweet.
Midnight.
Are you gonna bring your grandma?
No, I'm gonna tell her to stay home.
You don't want her to end up being a corpse without soul.
No, then I have to help her out of your chair.
Did you know that me and Mike and Lucas were working on a Merciful Fate King Diamond cover band?
I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere because the people involved.
You should have got me and Ben to be in that.
Well,
That's
yeah,
where you messed up.
the problem is finding a drummer. Honestly, like
Yeah.
it was like,
I'm almost there. I've been practicing drums. I'm getting pretty good.
oh yeah,
Not to that level yet.
I was
but
gonna say like because
it's
like
getting there. It's
can you
getting
do
close.
steady double bass lines and
Yeah, I can do steady double bass now.
dude, the thing about Merciful Fate, and I'm considering going to Atlanta to see them too. When you listen to them, and I love Merciful Fate, I'm glad that they're popular too, because like they are one of those bands that like if you listen to that, like if you were starting off listening to metal and you listen to Merciful Fate and you have a good taste, you would probably like them, and then it would be like, well, I'm sure this will be have to be one of my like, little favorite secret, bands. And then you find out that all like the death metal people fucking love Merciful Fate, which I just think is funny because there's nothing death metal or black metal about Merciful Fate other than
Right.
the makeup, right?
Yeah, I've known plenty of death metal guys at the
Oh, they
press.
love 'em,
At press
yeah.
when that part comes on Merciful Fate, ooh, and they're all going,
yeah.
oh, shut up, this is my favorite part. This is the best part. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I love it. And like when we went to see, I don't think you came to King Diamond. We saw King Diamond in Orlando years ago. And like it was all people from the Tampa death metal scene that I was running into. And I love it. I love that they love it.
Yeah.
It's just to me, Merciful Fate sounds way more like Judas Priest, and not just because of like the high vocals, but like just the instrumentals are more like new wave of British heavy metal.
Well, one of the few things you learn about them from the outside is like, well, everyone knows they have the high pitched singing,
yeah.
and then the second thing they are known for is they're satanic, right?
Yeah.
Like they're a satanic band.
Satanic and the imagery.
And
the imagery
and
is
the imagery
huge,
is
right?
like, so they must be heavy, dude. But when you go listen to them, they sound like a classic.
Yeah,
rock
they
band.
sound like new
like,
wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah,
They
like-
sound like they could tour with Maiden and Priest and
Yeah.
the rest of them.
I'm like, first time I heard Merciful Fate, I was like, it sounds like something my dad would listen to. Like,
Yeah.
fit right in with Boston and all those kind of. I mean,
Yeah, like a little bit more satanic than all of that. But
Right.
it's just one of those, like, I'm happy. I'm very happy that metalheads love Merciful Fate
Yeah.
to this day, right? and they're not considered hack or corny or anything like that. But dude, when you fucking try to play their shit, like when you're listening to it, it's just easy. It's fun to listen to. It's not easy to play.
It's not easy. No. Yeah. It's
do weird little
deceptively
transitions.
technical.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
the guitar work and the drumming, it's all like
there's stuff that doesn't
so brilliantly put together.
Yeah, there's stuff that doesn't make sense when you're playing it rhythmically. And it's like you're not playing along with like the kick drum. You have to like listen for like something he's doing with like the hi-hat or something that you're supposed to change on.
Right.
And I think that's like one of those differences between like European music that isn't blues based and American music that is, right? Because if you listen to like American heavy metal, that kick drum is everything, right? And
Right.
And I mean, like, who are some of the bigger American bands? You know, your Metallicas, your Panteras, and stuff like that. Like very much like into that 4/4 rhythm. Whereas like they're Norwegian. They didn't grow up with blues. I don't know what the fuck they grew up with.
I think they're Danish.
Or right, yeah, but isn't that a part of Norway?
That's part of Denmark.
Isn't everyone from up north Norwegian?
Yeah. No, I was reading something about when they came over to the States and they were like, oh, I've heard of this band Metallica. Apparently their drummer is also Danish. So let's go. So
Is that why Lars sucks at drumming?
there's a
'Cause
connection
he's
there.
Danish? Not, I mean, well,
It's because he's filled with cheese.
right.
Right? Aren't Danishes filled with cheese? Cheese Danish?
Oh, that's not a bad snack.
Oh, now we're getting to the comedy world.
Anyway, yeah, Merciful Fate's cool. I might go see him.
But the show's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So if you want a road trip, that'd be great. I've took the week off from work, so I'm going up to visit family and whatnot. But if you go, I'll see you there. It's on Wednesday, so it's kind
Yeah.
of
Are you are you riding up there with other people or?
I don't know yet. Right now, it's just me riding up by myself.
Okay.
Probably gonna be by myself because I'm leaving like Sunday or Monday.
Oh, you're just spending the
I'm
whole
taking
week
the whole
up?
week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if we do get up there, you could bring your portable recorder. We could pod it out somewhere.
Dude, that'd be
and
sick.
we could check out some open mic stuff in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we could do this thing. So I've noticed this thing at local shows or local open mics. There'll be someone who goes up to the person hosting and they'll be like, "Hey man, I'm in town from Ohio. Please, can I like get on this?" And then they go up and they're sometimes great, sometimes not so much. But I figure like we could do that.
Let's do that anyway.
We could
in
just
Tampa.
we could apply without saying it. We'd be like, "Hey, we're in town from Tampa. Okay, we're here this one night only.
You know,
gotta
I
get
drove
us on
I drove
this."
all the way out from Temple Terrace.
Yeah, you got to get us up there, man. Like, yeah. And then we could, if we bomb, we could just be like, "Oh, well, in Tampa, they love us."
We'll never see these people again. Have you been to any open mics?
Yeah, I've been trying to hit a
recently?
couple. I do have one thing that I can share that was interesting, but I've gone to just a couple at like the usual spots, Cafe Hey. I tried out The Gimmick, which is really
Right.
cool. It's in Ybor.
So
and-
that's for those who don't know. Mondays we've been going to Cafe Hey,
yes.
but there's a opposing open mic called The Gimmick.
Yeah, and it's not that far away, so it's cool because you can do double mics. So, I understand why people like do that. Like, I understand why people will go to like one and then leave and go to another. Like, it's a fucking
Yeah.
rush, dude. Like, especially because I did okay that night.
Well, imagine trying out your set of jokes and then immediately trying them again
Yeah,
right away with a brand new crowd.
Yeah,
That
well-
makes sense. Why wouldn't you do that?
yeah, I tried it, and I was the second to last person at The Gimmick, but it was cool.
So you went to Cafe Hey and then went to The Gimmick?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did that like 2 weeks ago, maybe. And The Gimmick is cool. Like, like shout out to The Gimmick in Ybor. It's a house that someone like renovated or de-renovated. I don't know. Deconstructed.
Is it on 7th Street or at 7th
It's
Avenue?
right off of it. It's like just south of it,
Okay.
like past the railroad tracks.
Where is it in proximity to the Boneyard?
walking distance?
Okay. You know what's sad though is the Boneyard is not the same anymore.
Nah, they made it all nice.
It used to be cool. It was like this little spot near the Orpheum. So the Orpheum was a venue,
that was a venue we would play and go to shows.
kind of like
at a
on the
lot.
edge of Ybor. Like Ybor is a
Living on the edge
the song we were listening to
of
earlier.
Ybor.
But okay, so let me explain Ybor to you. Ybor is a cesspool. It's a toxic zone full of
College
bros
kids.
and
Yeah.
everybody fighting in lines outside clubs. But on the outskirts, there was a venue called the Orpheum. So you didn't have to go all the way into Ybor. You could stay on the outskirts.
Right. It's on the. It's not in the inskirts. It's in the
Right.
outskirts, but it's not so far out that it's like scary. Because
Right. In this case, you want to
Yeah.
stay out of the skirts, though. You want to stay outside the skirts.
oh, trust me, if you are
'Cause if you
going
get
to a
in the
metal
skirt-
show at the Orpheum, you're not getting into any skirts.
But anyway, right near like a block down from the Orpheum, the Boneyard had the best atmosphere. It was like a dark, dank bar
yeah.
with little Christmas lights everywhere, and
Wasn't there like an old bathtub or toilet
a little
seat or
old
something
bathtub
you
was
could
one.
sit
Yeah,
on?
it was just a.
It wasn't in.
It
in
looked
use.
like a rundown crap hole, but it was actually pretty nice.
Had great wings, and I would always get the corn dog. I would always
great
get the corn dog.
service. Yeah, and now it's a yuppie
Oh, is it? I heard
bougie.
that.
Arbin used over on the chalkboard behind you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, let me
Excuse
scan
me.
my phone to see your menu online. Yes.
So anyway,
Yes.
I mean, it used to be cool. Like all the metal bands would hang out afterwards. Like I met Attila from Mayhem.
Oh,
there.
cool.
And it was so funny because like I was like, oh shit, that's Attila's. Hey man, it was such a great show. And then I was like yelled over to my friends like, hey guys, come meet Attila. Come on, everybody, it's Attila from Mayhem. And he's like started backing away. Like they're like, get this fucking guy out of here. I was like, oh, sorry, bye. And so they kicked me away from their area, and I was like, oh, I guess they don't want
You were that
attention
guy.
drawn to them. So I could have been cool and like maybe got to hang out with Attila from Mayhem, but no, I was drunk and obnoxious.
You know, it's funny, man. Like, I think you might have been there. We went out to the went out to Boneyard, like, Jesus, 2012 or 13. It was like in the middle of the week, and it was when I had just ended a really bad relationship, and like me and the Archangel guys, Tom,
Which
George.
relationship was it?
Well, do we say names of people?
You're getting married, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, well, not the one I'm getting married to. That's a
Right,
good relationship.
Was it starts with an A?
There's an N.
An N? Was it Finger Glove Girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so she wasn't long for this world, but Jesus.
Wait, is she still alive?
No.
What?
No. We talked about this on a previous podcast. But
We're not talking about the same person, are we?
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to postpone this. And talk about this
I
afterwards.
didn't kill her, so it's okay. But
Well, I thought her name started with a D.
no. I don't know if I ever dated a D person. Well, there was a person who I didn't date. Friends of friends.
Let's
whose
move
name
on.
started with a D
Yeah.
who's also
Anyway.
dead. But I just got out of a bad relationship, and we went out to the Boneyard on a weekday. It was like the Archangel guys, and you might have joined up with
Yeah.
us. And fucking one of the guys from Cannibal Corpse was there.
Probably Rob Barrett.
It was Rob, and like I didn't recognize him or give a shit. So I had the opposite
No,
experience.
I have a great story with Rob Barrett.
Because he was like, "Hey, I'm Rob," and I was like, "Cool, dude. I don't fucking know you."
He's the most outgoing of the Cannibal guys. Or
Yeah, he
like,
hangs out.
He hangs
I
out.
just, since
He
then,
hangs out.
I've hung out with him. Yeah.
And I was at the Crowbar one time, and he like recognized me or something. Like he was like, "Hey, Brad, what's going on, man?" I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, man. It's like, "Oh, it's Rob." "Oh, hey, what's up, Rob?" He's like, "We're doing shots, man." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll do one." "Yeah, fuck yeah, of course," you know. So I bought a round of shots. Like we're all hanging out, like him and the dudes, like from Gate Creeper. I think Gate Creeper was on the show, and Iron Reagan.
Oh, I remember.
So-
Yeah.
I hung out with the dudes from Gate Creeper and Iron Reagan, who were also in Municipal Waste. So Tony Forestra, whatever.
Cool.
I don't know. And like Steve Asheen was there from Deicide, who we mentioned before.
Nice.
So all I remember from the end of it was we ended up going to Rob's house. He invited.
Oh, really?
He's invited a bunch of people from the show. Hey, we're all going to party at my house. Oh yeah, all right.
Cool.
Made it out there, thankfully. I was drunk, so don't do it, kids. It's bad.
However,
I survived, made it there, and just got even more blitzed. And the last thing I remember was Steve was passing around as a doobie,
oh, nice.
and I was just like, "Be careful, man." Okay, all right. And next thing I know, I'm sitting on the patio chair, just like passed out, and I overhear someone go like, "Who is this guy?" And Rob had my back. He says, "Brad, man. He's from the scene. He's in the scene."
Nice.
So that's how I officially made it to the scene.
Oh, cool.
I haven't been invited back since.
You were inducted into the scene. That must have been quite a scene. So what tangent are we on from what other
We
tangent?
were talking about the Orpheum and like the Ebor and that. you talked about-
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say there's someone else who is from the scene who
Well, speaking of the
always
scene,
talks about how much he's friends with Rob Barrett, and he'll like tag pictures of him, and he'll be like, "It's been a while since I've seen this friend who is my friend. Hey guys, look at me and my friend.
Who wants coffee?
Oh shit, there's coffee.
did you make one for me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ah, it's
I'll
burning
take
my
it.
hands.
Oh God, it's hot. I don't even drink coffee, but I'll do it since it was made for me.
You gotta sip really loudly so it's good podcasting.
Actually, that's pretty good. Let me try. Let me try food. Here.
This episode is brought to you by coffee.
Yeah, I hate it when people are always talking about Rob Barrett, too. Like, hanging out with Rob Barrett and stuff. Like, that time I got really drunk at Rob Barrett's house. I wouldn't stop talking about it for like a week. I was real fucking annoying.
Yeah, I hate those guys.
Well,
Wait,
so-
Mike, did you ever meet? Speaking
Well,
of which,
so
we have a
so we just had a
drop in, a drop
We
in
had
or a pop in.
from another popular Tampa podcast, the Working Stiffs podcast, which is a wrestling podcast. One Michael Brady is just popped in with coffee. Hey.
On this podcast, I mostly just bring the coffee.
He brings the coffee.
Bringing coffee.
Mike, didn't you play in a band with Rob Barrett, like a cover band?
Not like played with. He woke me up at midnight one night, like called me at like 1 a.m. or something when I had to work the next morning because his cover band, like their vocalist had like split on them out of nowhere and they had a show coming up. So he was like, "Yo, can you do like one rehearsal with us and just learn a bunch of like Priest and Maiden songs for the show?" And I was like, "Sure, man, I gotta go back to sleep."
Wait, I remember that was like
so this cover band, so you cover songs from other artists, right? What's that about? What's that about?
Mario, what happened to you, man?
Why the fuck are you doing that?
This is my interviewing voice.
Well, stop it.
Easy or Larry King.
Yeah, what's that about?
It's like Jay Leno version.
Yeah.
I played one show with him. That was it.
Oh, was it the Sons of Rest Haven?
South of Rest.
South of Rest Haven. Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing that. It was like, oh, we're gonna do it was like a benefit show or something. Was it a benefit? Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. They paid
But-
me. I had a great time.
The moral of the story is that Rob is a very cool guy
Okay.
and gracious host.
And he paid
For his
Michael
home.
Brady.
And yeah,
No, Rob is awesome. Just people who won't stop name dropping him aren't.
right. So
Now
anyway,
deconstruct that sentence.
so me and my friend Rob, we're
My friend Rob, who everyone fucking name drops all the time. So Rob from Cannibal Corpse, obviously.
but
right?
honestly though,
Cannibal Corpse, another Tampa native, like Deicide.
yeah, I must have met him at a Brass Mug show or something where I was like really drunk and just JBD'd out and just talking to everybody and go, oh, who are you? Oh, that's cool, man. All right,
Pull your pants down at the
Yeah.
middle of the brass mug. Rip Torn lyric that we wrote about Brad.
There's so many people that have been like, oh yeah, I met you at the Brass Mug. I'm like, I have no idea who you are. I'm sorry. Like,
That's how everybody meets Rob. Like loads of people. Like I met Rob before I even knew who he was, just because we were all doing shots together at like the Boneyard in Ybor.
yeah,
I was just talking about that.
We-
I had that breakup that was a good breakup from a bad relationship, so I was celebrating. I wasn't like sad. And we were out on like a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And he's like,
right.
and
That's
he's
right,
like,
that's it.
and I was like, all the attention was on me. So I was like loving that. And my friends were like bringing me drinks and stuff. And then
And they
this fucking
said-
guy shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm Rob." And I'm like, I don't fucking care. Because I didn't realize, I didn't realize he was fucking heavy metal royalty. So that's my Rob Barrett story.
I should have been like, he's Rob, and I could be like, I'm Big, Rob and Big. Remember that show?
That was a show.
Could remake it.
Yeah. Dude, so speaking of like just local star shit, like
All right, thanks for popping in, Mike Brady.
I know we're on a tangent, but whatever. Like I just
I'll
thought,
be back.
I had a moment one time that I thought was pretty cool. Like we all know Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse, and
Yep.
I'm not that like we know him so close. He probably wouldn't know who I am. He might recognize me. Anyway, whatever. Like we.
Well, let's call Rob and find out.
So our friends Nick and fucking what's his name are
Oh, my good friend, what's his name? Yes, love that guy. Oh,
Jesse,
what's his face?
Nick and Jesse are in another band with Corpse Grinder, Paths of Possession,
Right.
which I like better than Cannibal actually. But like,
You do?
Yeah, whatever. Just deal with it. But so Paths of Possession was playing at the Mug, and fucking I was like, it was kind of like not a very busy show. So we were all just at the front, just kind of like goofing around, like just shouting shit up at them. They were shouting shit back at us.
Yeah.
I mean, like, cause like Nick produced the album that I did with Archangel. Like, so we're at the time pretty close with him. And Corpse Grinder was going on about something, and I yelled out, "Hey, aren't you the singer from Deicide?" Just to fuck with him. And so he jokingly was like, "I will fucking kill you." And then they went into some song, and I didn't think much of it. Like, death metal is great, but it's not my like forte. Like, I like thrash and power metal and new wave of British heavy metal and shit. But afterwards I had a thought like, man, there must be like some fucking kid in like, you know, the Caribbean or something who loves death metal. Death metal is like his favorite thing. And to have Corpse Grinder look you in the face and say, "I'm going to kill you," would make him like cream his pants.
Right.
Like, that's like someone else's dream. And just because we live in Tampa.
He would have too much respect for Corpse Grinder to ever say that. He'd be like, he would just yell, "I love you." And he'd go like, "Okay."
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't trying to be, the mood of the show was like just a bunch of friends. So I wasn't trying to be a dick. And he knew that. Like, and so he was, you know, just shooting it back at me. But like,
well, obviously he didn't kill you.
He didn't. I'm still alive.
You're still alive.
He did not grind my corpse. So,
but if he hits you with one windmill, it'll knock your ass out though.
But like, yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool. Like, I had like to me, it meant almost nothing. It was cool, but like, it didn't mean near as much as someone. I mean, fucking Cannibal Corpse has a song called "I Will Kill You," right? So to have Corpse Grinder say,
did he go into that song?
No, because it was a Paths of Possession show. And no, it wasn't like you know that video of Skid Row back in the day where the guy throws the bottle at Sebastian Bach's head. It's a great, even if you don't like Skid Row fucking rules. But like, it was a great little moment because they have a song called "Piece of Me," which is just like a fight song. And so I don't know if they were gonna go into it or not. But some fucking guy throws a bottle at Sebastian Bach's head because Sebastian Bach was probably being a dick to the crowd. And Sebastian Bach's like, "Who fucking did that? Who fucking did that?" And he's like, he figures out who does it. And then he goes, "Why don't you get a piece of me?" And then the bass player starts playing it, and the whole band starts going into that song, which it may not have been what they were going to play next, but it just fit.
Right.
And then he jumps into the crowd and kicks the guy in the head.
That's peak performance right there. Is when the segue into the song is
real.
It's real and it's spontaneous and it works perfectly. You can't ask. That's almost what you did.
Yeah.
It didn't go into the song of the same name, but if it did.
Yeah.
But you know, that's funny. You kind of feel special though after you get kind of like
it didn't
responded to.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me at the time, but I was like, it's like when I was like, you know, at home later that night, I was like, someone else would fucking like pay to have that moment.
Right. But you got, I mean, that's still kind of a similar thing. Did I tell you about the time I went to see Louis C.K. at the Side Splitters?
Oh, old Louis C.K.
Old Louis C.K. So Louis.
No, didn't Joe List open for him?
Yeah, it was a surprise show. It was just a Joe List show. And then all of a sudden they go,
really?
Louis is performing. So, you know, I managed to get in. I got like almost a front row seat.
I remember trying to get tickets for that.
And there was a moment in the show when he's like, he wants volunteers to yell out certain things. So he's like, I want you to yell it, you to yell it. And he looks right at me. He goes, "I want you to yell it."
What certain thing?
Well, it was yell out, "Fuck me."
I don't know that bit.
The bit was about like how cicadas are constantly crying out. And it's like their mating call. He's like, can you imagine? Like, and it's like, you imagine if all the guys in here just started yelling out, "Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, no, fuck me, fuck me." So like, he's like, let's try.
That is Ybor City on a Friday night,
right? So everyone in the crowd, he goes, all the guys in here just start yelling out, "Fuck me." So all the guys just like, "Fuck me, oh fuck me, fuck me, fuck me." And it's like it just was a cacophony of noise, right?
And you saw him when he was like on his like kind of comeback tour, right? That is an interesting thing for Louis C.K. to tell a bunch of people.
He's not towing any lines. He's like, you know what? I got caught doing a weird thing, and sorry I got caught. Sorry it was weird, but
I mean, like I whatever. many people have many things to say about it, but I do like his comedy, and I plan on seeing
Right.
his movie. Have you seen it yet? The one he made with Joe List,
No, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it though.
4th of July. I hear it's good. I hear it's got a great cast.
I was almost gonna buy the Louis series. I got an email from him talking about the series. He's selling it directly on his website. You can buy
cool.
every episode of Louis.
Yeah, I
For like
saw.
$30.
I saw.
Which
not,
I have
haven't
the
seen-
first 3 seasons on DVD, so I'm like,
Oh, nice. I haven't seen the special
DVDs.
Sorry yet, but I saw the one that came before it, Sincerely. And that was like through his website. Yeah, it was
Oh
good.
yeah,
And I think that's the one that won him the thing.
I've been following him since he
Grammy,
began the
Emmy
website.
thing.
Since he began the website,
What'd you think of Horace and Pete, dude?
Oh, it was great,
wasn't it wonderful?
really good. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Kurt Metzger on that show,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Kurt Metzger was great. I love Steve Buscemi, and I think like
Oh yeah,
the only problem with Steve Buscemi for me is every time he's in anything, there's already a spoiler that his character is going to die because Steve Buscemi
Right.
dies in everything.
yeah. He just looks like a deathly sickly character.
Yeah, but since he was young, he dies in fucking everything. So like you see him in something. He died at the end of Mr. Deeds, the Adam Sandler movie, where he was just in it to have a weird face, like he's like a local at Mr. Deeds' town.
Right.
And at the end, Mr. Deeds buys everyone in his town a Corvette, and Steve Buscemi's character just crashes it into a wall. Just
Why couldn't it be Rob Schneider?
ah.
Yeah, I saw some interview where he was like talking about he would give up his career now.
Rob
You know,
Schneider?
yeah, in the face of wokeism.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, oh, you give up all that, huh, Rob? Give up your big time. Nothing.
You can
got
do
nothing.
it.
Yeah,
I think I saw a stand-up special of his on Netflix like last year or so.
I always thought he was, just a normal guy, like one of the okay comedians, but not bad. But he's bad. He's one of the bad ones.
Has he gone like the Jim Brewer route? I'm saying things no one else is saying while he's saying what
He's
every
not
fucking
as-
person is saying.
He's not as hyper about it. He's very laid
But
back
just
about it.
that whole like oh I think that men are men. Huh, deal with it. Like that
Right.
kind of like
He's just like the
I'm a
most
straight white male. Deal with it kind of
right,
shit.
the
Like,
most hacky shit you can think of.
Yeah.
And that's like his wheelhouse. And I found out that he's that show Real Rob?
No.
He paid out of his own pocket to make a show called Real Rob,
Is it about the real Rob?
a Curb Your Enthusiasm style show about Rob Schneider's life.
I'm guessing
and-
it's not near as good as Curb.
It's awful.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
The fact that you haven't even heard of it just goes to show
Okay.
like it's modeled exactly after Curb and it fails every.
I mean,
Everywhere.
I never thought that like the "You Can Do It" guy from the Adam Sandler movies had much of a.
But he was on
career ahead of
SNL.
him.
He was on SNL. He was the making copies guy.
I
He
love
had a
that
character.
bit.
Yeah, it's a
and I
great bit.
love you saying that at work and seeing. If
But it's sad
anyone
that
gets-
that's how far his comedy goes. Like he had the copies guy, and that's the best he could do.
I mean, okay, that bit's great because it's so stupid. Like that.
Yeah.
That it's like a predecessor to like kind of like the "I think you should leave" kind of like bits where it's like just so absurd.
Yeah, that show's brilliant.
Yeah, and they just won something too, right?
They did won the Emmy for
Yeah.
best comedy show.
Good for them. I need to watch more of it. I've liked what I've seen.
Oh, I was me and
CalicoCutPants.com. Did you
right.
give?
You got to give. You got to give.
Gonna
Quit
go
tricking people into
dark.
thinking they're stars.
The wrestler doesn't show up if you give.
wait, are you saying it's in my Q zone? Yeah, that shows. I was obsessed with season 1. I watched it with Benzel,
Yeah.
and like we watched the entire first season like in a row, just laughing our asses off. Now it's like constant reference. We referenced the old guy in the car.
I don't know if
meeting.
I literally haven't seen much of it. Of the
Okay,
show.
there's an
Like,
there's one where they have a meeting where they're talking about car ideas, and this old guy is like, "I want a car that has a steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving." And that's just watch it. It's great.
okay, yeah, no.
It's a good sketch, and I'm gonna stand by. That's from it.
Everyone I know fucking loves it. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, like, yeah. This is me doing that thing. Like 'em. Yeah.
You got to practice. Start practicing. So he
Talking.
said, and then I said, And then because you go, and then I'm like, and then he's like, and I'm like,
I just don't know how to formulate thoughts and talk at the same time. And yet here I am trying to do podcasting and stand-up comedy. Two things where you have to talk and think. Not good at it.
you can't say and like.
Yeah. So my point is the making copies bit pretty good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's going somewhere. If your big bit is making copy, like that doesn't mean you're headed for stardom.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, so the gimmick, I guess the point of all of this is the gimmick is a great venue in Ybor.
Oh yeah,
for comedy. It's
circling back to it's Ybor.
A house.
I was going to say it's sad that the Orpheum has moved now. The Boneyard's not the same.
Right.
The
I
only
will say New World Brewery, though, they moved out of Ybor, but they're closer to where we live.
Yeah, I haven't been over there yet.
And it's pretty cool. Oh, I did an open mic there. They do like one Thursday out of the month.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool. It was like there's a full stage and everything. There wasn't a huge crowd, just other comics, but it was pretty neat. But yeah, the gimmick is cool because it's like an old house that someone just like kind of tore down the inside and turned it into a venue. And it's like BYOB, like, you know,
wow.
Yeah, it's not even like a bar, but you just show
Bring
up.
your own bitches.
Yeah.
Bring as many bitches as you want.
Because there's none to go around.
We could use some bitches actually. If you could bring your bitches and some other bitches. Bring your bitches and bring other bitches.
Yeah.
Bring all the bitches. BATB.
Is that a bit?
This is a bit right now. I'm doing
Bring your own bit.
Oh, that's it, dude. Bring your own bit. Yeah.
Hell yeah. If anyone doesn't know, I just sipped coffee after that. Sweet.
That was quite
remark.
satisfying.
Yeah. So I did do my first set where I was like on
drugs.
No, I was where I was like, I can't say I was featured. I'll tell you what it was. It was
a headliner.
I was on a show where I was on the list of performers as a comedian.
Wow.
At the Brass Mug opening for the Abortion Twins.
So that's why you went to the pizza party.
Well, so our friends Danny and Rich from the Abortion Twins, it's a Tampa punk band. They do every year a punk and ska pizza party. And I went to the pizza party because I wanted pizza, but they had a band drop off. And like Danny and Rich, we got to have them on the podcast. Like,
oh yeah, sure.
And they both love music of all fucking kinds, and they both love comedy. And
Danny and I were supposed to start a Tenacious D cover band. What happened, Danny?
Well, let's have them on. But they both knew that I was like trying out comedy, so I just asked Danny. I was like, "Hey, can I just go up in between bands and just like, you know, tell some jokes just for practice for me?" And then he was like, "Well, we actually had a band drop off, so you want to do 15 minutes?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
You did 15 minutes?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Well,
did anyone listen?
That's the thing. The people who were listening told me that they liked it. I did get some laughs. Like I notably got some laughs. A lot of people just weren't trying to hear
the metal venues. Let me ask you this: did they play music in the background while you were on stage?
No.
Okay, because some places will they'll have the jukebox going, and I'm like, you know, like can you turn the jukebox down so because it's chaos. I remember at Crowbar they had a comedy in between bands, and
oh really?
I thought this is just too chaotic.
Well, why didn't they just turn the jukebox down?
Maybe it's,
I love Crowbar, but I'm surprised.
It was just like the people the band coming off the stage.
I love the venue Crowbar. Don't love the band Crowbar. Just figured I'd mention that.
Well, then you haven't listened to them properly because Crowbar is a great band.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
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 Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll curve that for some other time.
They're so like it's for the hardcore crowd more. It's not like a metal.
Aren't
thing.
they just like bro rock? Like,
but they're
with
kinda,
beards?
They're
like
kind of broy. Yeah, they're kind of broy, but they have soul, man. They got some soul in there, and they sing. You know, it's not just all tough guy hardcore. It's like it's got.
Are they kind of like Clutch? Because I never liked Clutch.
No, not like Clutch.
Okay.
They're not like a stoner rock band. It's.
I don't mind stoner rock.
It's like heavy, slow.
I think Phil Anselmo
Uh,
like produced like
They
one
do
of
some
their-
fast stuff, but like a lot of it's slow. It's like
Anyway,
methodic, pounding, heavy stuff. It's the lyrics are very deep. I think you should give them another shot.
okay. Shout out to Crowbar. I'll listen, and shout out to the venue Crowbar, who apparently doesn't know how to turn the jukebox off when comics.
Well,
are up.
maybe I might be misremembering that, but I just remember it being chaotic between the sets and thinking like, man, I can barely hear what this guy's saying, and it's hard, and he can't keep the crowd because people are just coming in and out. People go. Comedy is like you need a set, still audience.
Yeah.
They need to be more captive.
Well, and the
And
reason
metal
I
shows
thought,
are too open and
well,
free.
it was a punk and ska show, and like the Abortion Twins are basically comedy punk. I think they'll admit that. And ska is just fun. Like if you listen to ska and you're not giggling, then I don't know what you're doing because you can't take it seriously. I was thinking about a joke about like ska is like power metal. Like they're both like for nerds. They're both like use it like instruments that aren't normal in their genres, and like they both won't get you laid. There's something there.
And like once you can stand it, you can actually
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, right, yeah, and I've gotten that way with both of those genres. Like I'm full on a fan of power metal now, and
You know what? I think there's something about life in general, though. I just kind of flash realization here, but like, think about it. It was the first beer you ever tasted that tastes good?
no,
Right? A lot of complicated flavors take time to appreciate. You know, and you think like as a kid, you think, oh, I like the good stuff and all the stuff I don't like is bad. But as you get older,
yeah.
you find some things are an acquired taste, you know, and like I think that kind of fits.
Well, I think with like ska and power metal, the kind of bubblegumminess of it, like, is a turn off to a lot of hardcore punks or metalheads. And I think at some point you just realize that melody is cool. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and
Like
well,
I like melody, dude.
but
Like-
after a few, you know, give it a real chance and really try to get into it, and you might figure out what makes it so great. And then now I get it. And once you get something, you can actually appreciate it. But if you don't even give it a chance, you're going to be like, oh, that's just lame. I'm not even going to try to listen to that.
Right.
I as a black metal fan, death metal,
Right.
I don't like ska, but I know that intellectually I probably would if I.
You could probably
If
find
I got
a song
into
or
it
two
and-
you liked.
yeah.
And there's a couple local bands. Shout out to Unchecked Aggression, man. Like,
Are they still around?
I don't know if they still are, but like I hope so. They did ska, but they did it like in minor keys, and they used the like brass as kind of these overtones that it was ska, but they would play instead of like a major chord, like they'd hit like a minor chord with it, and it would get pretty intense. And then their drummer threw in like double bass, and they went heavy with it, and it was very interesting. And I don't know enough about ska to know if that's something you see a lot, but like normally ska is like very poppy and happy. Anyway, good venue for comedy though, right? So I thought, and I got up there. I went about 15 minutes. I roasted the bands. You know, I roasted I roasted Danny and Rich. I had like 2 pedophile jokes in a row because I had the one about Ricky Martin, like, you know, who got in trouble for
your classic
dude,
Ricky Martin bit.
That joke is landing every time I do it, dude. Every fucking time I do it, the Ricky Martin bit is landing. And so I just keep doing it. And
Thank God for Ricky Martin.
And then I had a bit about Megadeth and how you know, it's interesting. Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, he's become Christian, and Dave Ellefson has become a pedophile. So before shows, Dave Mustaine prays to God, and Dave Ellefson prays on 16-year-old girls. So this was unplanned.
Hey, she was 17, man.
Okay.
She was.
Was she 7? I thought she was 19.
Michael Brady's back, everybody! Hey, Michael Brady's back!
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem was that he started messaging her when she was 17.
That's what it was. Okay.
So
I
now
don't know.
he's lumped in as a pedophile with all those people who actually rape kids.
I mean, if we're being real, a guy his age, like, jerking it and, like, showing the images to a 19-year-old is still weird. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
But not criminal.
Okay, let's not go down this road on this
we're
podcast.
not doing this.
I'm not doing this now or ever.
You know, just 200 years ago, the feudal
Okay,
system.
Plato.
My That identity has already been revealed on this podcast. You got to fucking stop.
Yeah, I'm against it, which is why I made a joke about it. And so, but the funny thing to me was like, I did not plan it this way. I have like a kind of like a bit that I've worked out a couple times where it's like about how back in the day when you ask a kid what they wanted to be when they grew up and they said president, that was like a noble kind of thing. Like, oh, little Susie wants to be president. Good for her.
Right, yeah.
And now if a kid says they want to be president, you're like, what's wrong with you? You know, like you're just trying to grab or sniff people. Like after the last couple guys, like it's the role's been tainted. So there were kids at the show and I knew I was down on time and I wanted to throw that thing in. I wanted to be like, what do what do the kids here want to be when they grow up? So I could then say, see how none of them say president anymore. I don't know, I had this in my head.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't think about the fact that I said that part after the 2 jokes about pedophiles in a row. So I'm like, I'm done saying Dave Ellison preys on children, and then I'm like, hey, there's a lot of kids here tonight.
Speaking of children, what's your name, little boy?
And as soon as I said it, I was like, oh God,
Where's your mom at?
Now that I've made everyone comfortable.
Yeah, so fortunately not that many people were listening. Yeah, so that was, and I was like caught myself on stage. I was like, I probably shouldn't make that joke.
Probably do the one joke beforehand. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, but like, and then so after my set, after I was done being in between bands, a couple people like told me that they thought I did really well. Like some people liked my jokes, and like my fiance said that like there was like a table next to where she was sitting where people were like just cracking up. So I was like, cool. And then I'm riding high, and some fucking old guy I don't know comes up to me and goes, you can't win every crowd, man. I'm like, go away, Rob. I'm like, gee, thanks. Thanks, dude. I thought I did, but okay. Yeah. So,
you know what's funny is we had someone do that at Riptoberfest. One of the Riptoberfest we did.
Oh yeah, was that when I was still in?
I think so. Ben's brother-in-law, Little Rick, as we call him.
Oh, Little Rick. He did comedy.
Yeah, remember that?
I don't remember.
Well,
I was either drunk
the reason
or
you
not
don't
there.
remember that is because he did it like once or twice, and in between bands, like he tried to go up and say a couple jokes and introduce the band. And he was like, after the first or second time, he's like, "Yeah, I can't do that. It's just not going well." And so he just refused to.
Was it because people weren't listening?
They just weren't listening, and he's not a very loud person, so he was like, couldn't get projection out there.
Gotcha.
She's like, they're like, hey, okay, this sucks. I just like walked away.
That's funny. Yeah,
but that's a thing I think is about the comedy is like the at a metal show would only work for a certain type of comedian, like you or I. We could be more body and loud and
boisterous
and
flamboyant,
whatever B word you can think of,
rambunctious,
belligerent.
Yes,
and but yeah, he's more of a you got to lean in and listen to him kind of guy. You know,
that's not going to work anywhere outside of
a strict comedy venue.
Yeah,
very strict comedy venue.
Let's say I had some jokes. Like there was a band called Love Songs for Junkies, so I just used a really cheap Hunter Biden joke. I said, Love Songs for Junkies was just up, not to be confused with Hunter Biden's new band, Love Songs by Junkies. And, yeah, you got to go for the cheap shit.
But did you do Trump jokes as well, or did you stay strictly on Biden?
I didn't do any Biden jokes. I just said that joke.
Well, that's a Biden joke,
I guess. The whole thing about like
where Biden is in the joke. That's Hunter Biden.
I don't see it that way, man.
Look, man, I think it's fine to just throw one out there and just don't go back to it, especially when it's not like an expressly political joke. Like you can make a joke about a political figure and not have it be necessarily a political joke.
I was trying to think of someone else. I was like, what junkies are in the news right now? And the only one I could think of was Hunter Biden. I thought, the whole like kids don't want to be president anymore. That's a fucking Trump joke. Like Biden's not near as tainting that seat as.
But then you said something about sniffing.
Yeah, well, that's funny.
That's Biden.
That's funny.
Biden's the sniffer.
He's the sniffer, but Trump's a grabber. Grabbing is worse than sniffing.
I don't know. Do you think so?
Especially where he's grabbing people. It's a little worse. Grabbing people by the pussy and then sniffing their head. I'm going to go with...
What if you sniffed them by the pussy?
Would you rather have your pussy grabbed or your head sniffed?
Yes, if it's the other way around, it's maybe a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Brad's like trying to prove that I'm somehow a conservative comedian when I'm not.
He is. You're a conservative.
I am not.
I just proved it. You just made a Hunter Biden joke, and that's all I need. Rest my case. Collusion.
No proof.
Stop trying to convince him he's an unfunny comedian.
Fucking
You know what?
comedy
I think we need
over
we need to appoint a special master to see if you're funny or not.
Who would that be?
I don't know. I know nothing.
Look, you're gonna need to give him like 5 minutes to pick up all the documents on his bedroom floor first.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Fucking peanut.
FBI
gallery
came in and
over
just threw them
here.
all over the floor. I don't keep my classified documents on the floor,
Of
people.
my beautiful house. I love how Trump had to throw in that his house is beautiful when he's
Right.
talking. They raided my beautiful house.
They used 5 of the 15 bathrooms I have. All of the first floor.
They raided my wife's panty drawer. I had already raided them myself, though. Nothing to see there.
You know, if you're an FBI guy who's in like the middle of a raid and you know that the guy that you're like hitting is fucked, do you ever just decide to just for the hell of it, like, I don't know, let me just take a dump on the carpet, like just for the hell of it?
Yes. The answer is yes.
I would be very tempted.
This is evidence.
I don't know. It's
No, this is evidence of why I can't be an FBI member. I'm unqualified for the job. I'm not a narc.
Okay, Michael Brady is not a narc.
but
guys.
he can shit on command.
That I would love to
Oh,
be able to
that's
do
true.
that. Two things I would love to be able to do is like go to sleep when I want to,
Oh, yeah.
and shit when I want to.
Yeah.
Bro, as I'm getting older, it just seems like I'm shitting all the time. Like, I would love to stop shitting at this point, honestly.
You know, for
He's
me,
shitting
it's,
right now.
it's like it's instead of waiting for the like a one good shit, my body just wants to go shit out little pellets all the time. It's like, hey, let's go shit again. Come on, we got a little bit of shit. Let's go shit it out. Like, all right, okay.
I guess I don't have a choice on this one.
Like, fuck it, I can read some more.
So
Keep my books in there.
So, have you done any like open mics recently? I don't think you have, but we
No,
have
I honestly
video
haven't-
of like
yeah.
the last one you did. I showed Mike and some other people like the video of
Show
you-
them my video.
Yeah, you did fucking great, dude. Where you were like, what were some jokes you said? Oh, the thing about you bought a sex doll
Oh yeah, the sex doll.
that
joke.
was real life.
So we're just friends. or
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, I like that idea of a joke, but to me, that seems like, every single guy out there, loser kind of
Well,
guy.
what's
thought
good about that
you know,
joke is
like-
it's you threw it in just as a side of your bigger joke.
Okay,
Right? Like
right.
it was like that wouldn't work as a single joke because you're right. It's like it's a lot of people would maybe think of that, but like
so
you
on its own by
you had
itself,
this
it's like
big
a
fucking
very
story.
obvious kind of thought. Like, hey,
yeah, but
everybody
as a
has that thought.
side note, it worked great because it's
Yeah.
a really good laugh getter. You know,
I want to try to figure out a way to say that though, in a way where it's not like, and we're just friends or whatever. Like, how do you, how can I, like maybe it's something about the friend zone or something, or
Just Friends works though. You don't have one thing I am trying to do after like listening to a lot of podcasts about comedy is I'm trying my best to not try to be clever and not try to work too hard. I think I've realized that about like jokes I was trying to tell. I like looking back on just shit that I was writing. Like I didn't think
too
this had
high
the-
level. Like,
And,
too,
well, okay, I'm not saying it's high level. I'm saying that it comes off as trying to be high level.
okay,
You know what I mean?
it's overly complicated.
Well, and it's like you get the impression that when I was writing it, I was thinking, "Oh, this is really smart," and I fucking hate that. So I went and like deleted a lot of stuff where I was trying to be clever, because it's not even like it was clever; it was just me trying to be clever. I went and deleted a bunch of that shit, and I'm just trying to go for funny now. So, well, I'm getting.
That's a good point. Yeah, try to go for funny, but it's hard not to want to be clever though. Like,
I know.
because my instinct is to want to be like, well, how can I word this in a way that's unique and no one's thought of it this way? That's really what I'd like to go for. And
Yeah.
I just thought of this about the sex doll thing. What if it was like, I was afraid to make a move on the sex doll. Like, I got the sex doll. We're going to the movies on Thursday. Maybe I'll get to
Maybe
first base. I don't know.
She hasn't said much.
Yeah.
I keep texting her and no
Right.
response. She leaves me on red.
Right. I held her hand at the movies. She didn't pull back. So
There's something there. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one to tell you. I think just go to open mics and workshop it.
Yeah.
Right? Because Miles told me, I have this like the yoga joke where it's like, trying to get in shape or whatever, trying to like have more healthy habits. Tried yoga. The yoga instructor told me to listen to my body. And like, listen to my body? And she's like, yeah. So I listened to my body, and now
fart
my
joke.
yoga teacher has a restraining order out on me.
Oh, boner joke. Okay.
Well, that or wherever your mind wants to take
See,
it,
I
right?
thought my thought was like, oh, this is gonna be a fart joke. It's like, listen to my body. Well, it doesn't sound very good to me. Like,
No. But Miles told me like he was like, take out the part where you're like, listen to my body. You want me to listen to my body and just go straight to it to make it shorter, right? Like, so it's just she told me to listen to my body, so I listened to my body.
we'll skip that too.
Well, no, like that part.
She said, listen to your body. So now I have a restraining order. Like, you go right to the.
Yeah, well, I guess that could work too, right? Like she said to listen to your body. And now
Obviously,
my
you did.
yoga
because-
teacher has a restraining order out on me, so that's not very relaxing.
Right. No, she told me to listen to my body, but then she follows a restraining order.
Okay.
Like, which one is it going to be? Pick a lane, lady.
I like how this is becoming. These pretzels
Yeah.
are making me thirsty. There's just different ways to say it, but that's true with comedy, right?
Well, here, let me throw a joke at you.
Sure.
That's what I've been thinking of. Something about being, I'm a big guy, obviously. Currently, I
Wow.
consider myself fat as fuck.
Okay.
I plan on losing about 100 pounds, though, so I'll be just fat as. And then hopefully 100 pounds out of that, I'll lose the as part, just be fat.
Okay. There's something there.
It's playing on the fat as fuck and the fat as.
Right, yes,
I'm
yeah.
losing the fuck, keeping the as.
Or you like fat as fuck as opposed to being just a fat fuck, or maybe fat fuck is
Right.
like somewhere else in this timeline.
Right. Or if I lose my ass first, then I'm just a fat fuck.
And then eventually I'll lose the fat and I'll just be an F.
Then I'll just be a fuck.
Dude, I loved Robert Kelly had a joke in like an old special where he was like, I'm on my 5th fat. And then like some fat guy in the audience is like laughing and he's like, you know what I mean? Which fat are you on? And the guy's like, I'm on my 3rd. And that is so fucking
What does he
true.
mean by that, though?
Well, like, he doesn't explain it, but I believe I'm probably on my 1st fat right now. Like, it's like when you're like, geez, I'm fat. And you have to like
okay.
do all the fat guy things, get new clothes and stuff. Like, part of why I was late opening the door for you today was
Right.
because I went to the gym this morning. I have one pair of shorts that fits me right now. So I had to like, and that pair of shorts went to the gym with me. So
now it's like that realization, like, okay, I'm at a point now where I have to go clothes shopping.
right, but like for my work, I just wear scrubs, and scrubs are really
Uh-huh.
forgiving. So I just don't have clothes to wear outside of scrubs and one pair of shorts, which is why I'm wearing a bathing suit right now. So that's my 1st fat, and I guess if I were to go to my 2nd fat, well, this bathing suit's going away forever.
Right.
Like, so like just different like, oh shit, I'm fat moments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's a
yeah.
Bobby Kelly joke. He doesn't explain it, but the audience gets it, which
Right,
I love
yeah.
that. But the other thing is like, we're not at that level yet. Like, that's where I'm kind of like, the crowd doesn't expect me to have a clever thing because they don't fucking know me. So I just gotta prove that I can be funny. I don't know.
There does seem to be something about, like, when it's like a comedian they know or respect is up there, they know that, okay, this guy's funny, so they're primed to laugh.
Yeah.
And the laugh just. But if you're not considered one of those people, who's this guy? Is this guy who just work here and come? You're just a normal guy like me going up there. You think you're funnier than me? Like, they get this attitude of like,
and
you think you're funnier than me?
some of the open micers who I've hung out with have told me like the crowd has your side. The crowd wants to laugh at you, and I'm like, I don't believe it. Prove it. But
I felt that way though when I'm sitting in the crowd watching these open mics. I want to laugh, but I can't. I'm never gonna fake laugh and be like, ha 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 ha, like force it out. If you're gonna make me laugh, I'll laugh if it's true. But like most of the time, those comedians, their jokes are like, "Hey, I did this and I did that." I was like, "Oh, That's pretty funny.
Right. Well, and
that's pretty good. That's pretty clever. Yep. Like that's as much reaction I get from.
I went and I tried. I went to one and I didn't sign up because I thought I'm not enjoying these nights because I'm in my head too much. So I didn't sign up. I just went and observed.
Oh, really?
And way more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't get to practice comedy, but I had way more fun because I wasn't like thinking about like,
Right.
oh God, I'm up in 3 people, you know.
Yeah.
So there's something to that too. But yeah, we should just go to more open mics essentially, right?
I think on Monday, let's try to do both.
Let's try doing both.
Let's try doing both.
Yeah. And so okay, so also I went to Mastodon and Ghost, which
right.
fucking ruled if you like that sort of thing.
Sadly, I don't.
I will say this about Mastodon live, fucking awesome, dude.
Really?
Like, they have gotten so much better at vocals for one thing.
Yeah, I mean, by now they got to be good at it.
Yeah, like to the point where like they played the Czar, which like they were the opener. Well, I mean, there was another band called Spirit Box who just whatever, like one trick ponies. Like the singer was cool and that's about it. But just whatever. Like my friend Cosmo who came with us said he leaned over. He goes, the backing track is carrying a lot of weight for this band. I was like, yeah,
Really?
that's yeah.
Ugh,
So-
I hate that.
Me too. And that's why I like what Ghost is doing now, where they used to be heavy in the backing tracks, and now they just have like 3 backing singers and 2 keyboard players. So like everything is live for them now. Kind of like King Diamond has like the girl singing behind him
Okay.
to carry the high notes because he's 95 years old.
Right.
But it's cool because it's live. It's not a backing track. So anyway, but Mastodon also doesn't do backing tracks. They bring a keyboardist with them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, speaking of Mastodon, did you hear about Scott Hull? I think it's Scott Hull is the name.
Is he Josh?
He's
Is he the guy from Eagles of Death Metal?
he was in Neurosis.
Oh no,
And,
no, yeah. Is he the guy who does a vocal on like pretty much all their albums?
Yeah, he like helps them on all their albums.
Yeah.
He's been like
What about him?
kind of a part of the
Don't
band.
tell me he's a raper.
No, he's an abuser.
Ah,
And Neurosis actually broke up over it. He's like quit. He made this post where he's retired from music, and because he's just no longer wanting to continue his lies and stop. He wants to stop abusing. And then all the bandmates came out and said like, well, you know,
Like-
it's great he said all that, but he's a liar and an abuser. So this is probably just another
like a liar
lying
and
abusing
abuser of
moment.
like one person or like a series of people or like
His wife.
does he keep people in cages or like,
No, his wife, I guess, was
damn.
like physically abusive, verbally abusive, and he like kept it hidden from people for a long time. But like some people like kind of knew, I guess. Or it's kind of like one of those
Cosby kind of thing, or
secret things where
it's
it's like
known,
some
but it's
people
not.
had like inklings, and finally the truth just comes out. He's like, but he came out himself and said, "I'm an abuser and I got to quit." And a lot of people are like, "Well, we don't even believe that." So
Damn. I mean, I guess fucking like it's good to be
for a lot of people, he was kind of a musical icon. You know, he's in the band Neurosis.
Neurosis, yeah.
And in Mastodon, like helping with Mastodon.
Yeah, he was like their unofficial fifth member. Yeah.
To find out that someone is like that is pretty shocking, I think.
And and you wonder, right? Who do you know?
Well, I'm not married, so I'm covered here. But I don't know.
She can leave if she wants. There's no
Just got to
locks
get
on these
past
doors.
me first. Goosh, goosh.
The door's,
But
the door's unlocked from the inside.
Can I reveal that on the podcast that you're going to get hitched?
Yeah. There was a joke I was telling about the engagement process. It hasn't really landed so much.
Let's hear it.
It's about how this is just true. I had a lot of friends from work who were trying to help me. Not trying, they did help me come up with a really like good engagement plan, right?
You didn't consult me once.
Like one of the jokes is like I literally haven't done this before, so and that's not a joke. It's just true. Like it's not a thing I'm practiced at. right? Like, so I didn't fucking know. But like, I work with a lot of females, and they all just love helping with engagements because they want to help me plan the engagement that their husbands didn't give them, and they are very open about that. They're very open about how much they just kind of hated what their husbands did.
Right. They want you to not make the same mistakes their husbands made.
Yeah, and they want to
We're
have
gonna
like
save you and make this the perfect.
yeah, it's more
engagement.
for her. Like they want her to have a good experience.
So then they could go to the wedding and be like, yeah, hey, that was my idea. So
Exactly. So but like so I was getting text messages and phone calls at random times of day from coworkers who were trying to help me plan a good engagement. And because I didn't want her to see like, oh, here's a link, or here's a picture of like a ring, or here's a picture of, whatever. So I'm like grabbing the phone and hiding it from her because it's a surprise.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, it turns out that the behavior you have when,
it's like you're cheating.
Yeah. When you're planning to engage is a lot like the behavior you might have when you're playing an affair.
She's like, and is that girl from work texting you again? Oh, honey, it's just she's giving me engagement ideas.
But you can't say that. So you have to say like, so literally, and this literally happened. It was fucking like, it might not have been 8 a.m. It might have been like 10 a.m. But I was asleep on a Saturday morning, and we're in bed, and my phone rings, and it's like my friend Courtney from work, and I'm just like, I grab the phone, I turn it off, and I'm like, it's a work thing on a Saturday.
Then he picks up the phone. I told you never call me here.
Or like you're on the couch, the phone buzzes, and you do this move where you like grab it and hide it from them. So I acted that out on stage, and I'm like, ladies, if you're familiar with that move, then either you're about to get engaged, or you won't have to worry about it. So yeah, it's a funny one. It's a cute
That's
one.
funny.
Too.
It's got the meats there.
Yeah,
You just got to find the right way to get that in order and
I
do
like
jokes along the way. But I like that. That's a good idea.
And I'm trying to like make jokes that are like positive about relationships because I'm just so fucking tired of like my wife is not cool because whatever, or I can't get my wife to, or my wife doesn't let me. Like I'm tired of comedians complaining about relationships, So like if I'm gonna tell a joke about a relationship, I want it to be positive because that's just, you don't hear a lot of that. Right? Like the last time I can recall hearing someone say a positive thing about their spouse was Patton Oswalt talking about his wife after she died.
Right.
So posthumously, you can say a
So
positive
you're gonna do
thing.
you're gonna do the "Take My Wife, Please" bit, but then add it to the end and take her to a nail salon and do her nails and get her hair done and
get her back in one piece so I can tear
and
that
get her
ass
back
up.
and then get her back in that kitchen.
Yeah. So I don't know. I liked that I had the opportunity to like talk about a real thing that really did happen. Like when I had that moment when I was in bed and my friend called and I turned off the phone, I literally thought this is kind of funny. And also I can't tell the person sleeping right next to me why this is funny yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is going to have to wait until
you're giggling to yourself. Like, what is it? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
And so there might be other jokes there too, like I can't think of what it was. Anyway, Mastodon fucking ruled.
Mastodon,
dude. Okay, I just thought this was cool.
I'll never hate Mastodon, but right now I don't really like them that much anymore.
You don't like their new stuff. Brand's singing is too clean or whatever.
No, it's not even that. It's just they kind of like I don't know. Like I had my time with them and I enjoyed it, but everything they've done since Around the Sun has been like.
Well, I will say they played a lot of older stuff.
Although I didn't listen to the new Grim and whatever.
Hush and Grim. It's good. It's as the album title suggests, it's a little bit mellow, but when it gets heavy, it's fucking heavy. But it'll
be a nice surprise one day when I finally listen to it.
Well, I hope you like it when you do.
I'll listen to that and the Metallica album that came out that I never listened to.
Oh, Hardwired to Self-Destruct?
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah. The 2 songs I heard from it were pretty good. Moth into the Flame.
I'm still amazed I never checked it out. I'm proud of myself.
I tried listening to the new Megadeth and it sucked.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, but no, they played a lot of older stuff.
They lost that great bassist of theirs.
Mastodon played a lot of older stuff. They could fucking nail the vocals. Troy did a lot of singing live, which I was happy about because Brand sings too much in the albums for my taste. But like, I love Troy's voice. They like
When
played some interesting cuts. Like they played Sasquatch, like the fucking instrumental.
Oh, okay.
And they played Crystal Skull, which is an older one. But they played The Czar,
Yeah,
which
that was good.
Yeah, and like they nailed that. They do like 3-part vocal harmonies on it now. But I just thought for the opening band to play that fucking song, like that's ambitious, right? Like they were like that's a song you play if you're like the headliner.
Well,
But-
yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say that a lot of people there were probably to see Mastodon.
Well, what was
versus
weird
Ghost.
was like the first band, Spirit Box. No, we were up in the seats because we're old. We like sitting down. That's my thing from now on. I sit at shows, but like the general admission floor. This was at the USF Sundome Arena. The general admission floor, they were moshing to Spirit Box, which I don't know how. Spirit Box was just boring, but they had some breakdowns. So I guess you could mosh to that. But like they all were just kind of standing there for Mastodon, and then fucking Brent goes, I think he was making a joke about the crowd being so young. He goes, "This is reminding me when we opened for Kiss," and he would just say random bullshit throughout the show. Like,
Yeah.
I love that whole like irreverence, but then when you play, you nail every fucking note.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Mastodon ever opened for Kiss, but that was funny.
See, I've always wanted to be that kind of musician who just like cracks
Yeah.
irreverent jokes and
Yeah.
then nails it. I got the irreverent jokes part down, but as far as nailing it, yeah, that's kind of.
When I was an Archangel, Mike and I used to trade jokes back and forth pretty good, and then we would
Yeah,
play as well as we could, given that we had
Yeah.
a band that full of misfits. But putting it lightly. But fucking Ghost was great. You probably hate Ghost.
I
Right?
hate Ghost.
Yeah, the band everyone loves to hate.
No, I hate that I hate them too.
Would you like to like them?
I would love to like them, but I just can't do it. It's just too just not my. It's not for me.
It's the thing is you got to not think of them as a rock band and think of it as musical theater. Like if you were to
Well,
go,
that's exactly why I don't like them. Not a musical theater fan.
but if you
Sorry.
were to be stuck watching Broadway, wouldn't you want to see some fucking guitar solos?
You know what? No. I think if I'm going to immerse myself in another world, I want to be in the authentic world that it is and not some tailor-made, like, oh, we made this metalized for you so you can understand it. No, give me the actual, like, let's see, a real Broadway play. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what are we going to go see?
I mean, I liked Hamilton.
Cats? Not Hamilton. Come on.
Did you not like Hamilton?
I wanted to like it. I watched it on Disney Plus, and like the first 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I cannot do this. I
Really?
cannot do this.
So, like, I think that there's some interesting the dynamics of whenever there's a new thing that's out, and I think like the new Little Mermaid is getting this too. Like, is like there will be people like a thing, and then there's weird backlash from people calling that thing woke or whatever, and then there's
You know what? Actually, I think I hate to sound like a conservative conspiracy guy, but I mean, it seems like it's
Oh,
almost
boy.
like the racist reaction is manufactured.
yeah.
Like, they had Lord of the Rings of Power come out, and they have black elves, and now everyone, quote unquote, everyone is freaking out and going, well, that's not right, and Tolkien had them white, and it's like, so then the liberals are going, well, these racist assholes are trying to cancel the
There's
show.
an element of that where like no one on my social media gives a fuck about the new Little Mermaid or the new Lord of the Rings.
The point is that
and no one on my social media was mad that Hamilton had black actors in it.
It gets both
but
sides.
I have a lot of people on my social media talking about the racist backlash,
Right.
which I don't fucking see. However, we know people who definitely are mad at there being a black area.
Probably, but
we
not
know
not,
people
into,
who are.
not to the sense that they're going to go storm the Capitol over it or whatever. Like they're just going to post on Facebook and go like, "Well, I think mermaids shouldn't be black."
Yeah.
It's like, well, who cares? Nobody fucking cares what they have to say.
Hey, Michael Brady's back. Hey!
I am going to storm the Capitol over it, and that capital is Tallahassee. Let's go.
Fucking mermaids in Tallahassee.
Governor Santis, Rhonda Santis.
I'm going to make Ron DeSantis get rid of all the fucking mermaids around here, or he's got to go.
I guess like so. My thing about Hamilton is like I hear a lot of. I've heard some people who are more conservative being like, "Oh, you're just gonna be one of those people pretending you liked Hamilton because you're supposed to." And
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, I liked Hamilton because it was enjoyable. Like
So-
I thought
so-
it was very impressive.
Some people
and
bark
I
because they
fucking
think
loved the music. Like
it's like a lot of these
I-
shows get brought up because like, oh look, there's people of color in this. This should be popular because of that. And it's like
yeah,
people want to
but-
they want to chop it down and go, no, it actually sucks. It actually sucks. It's just
right, but like
And
no,
at the end of the
Hamilton was
day-
actually good. My point is that you're racist for hating it.
no. Let's
Get out! I'm
Let's-
the new co-host of this podcast now.
no.
I just don't like mermaids. Black people rule.
Right. In fact, I thought they could have
I
had.
draw the line at flippers. Okay.
They could have more black people in Hamilton. They were all Puerto Ricans.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Not there's anything wrong with that.
Anyway, Mike, I was explaining to Brad that Ghost is more musical theater than rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So-
it's actually funny because the last time I went and saw him, that we just went and saw him, like the stage show has gotten to the point now where like seeing them live most reminds me, like compared to any other show I've seen, of King Diamond. Like because again, like we saw. I mean, let me get this out front. I love Ghost. Think the live show is great. King Diamond might be the best live show I've ever been to. Like, it's either King Diamond or Rammstein, depending on what criteria we're looking at here.
And your preference for
I mean-
on stage.
Right, I mean, you
Sex
know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like musically, King Diamond.
Sex and fire.
Yeah, musically, King Diamond not close, but like no other band does the live stuff that Rammstein does.
Like, I bet that's an
Hold up a
experience.
fucking
You,
chair,
you
Mike.
saw Rammstein live?
oh yeah.
See, that's one of those bands I would, yeah. It's funny because I remember liking them when I was 13 or whatever. You remember back in the day when
Yeah.
they first came out with Du Hast and
Yeah.
they were on the Family Values tour.
Oh, with Korn.
I wanted to go on that tour so bad, and now that I think about it, if like my parents had bought tickets to that, we would have walked out during Rammstein. They were like, "You were not seeing this. You were never listening to them again."
Rammstein live was so good that I would tell people to go see them live, even if you don't like their music.
Wow.
Like the stage show is just that crazy and that awesome. But back to King Diamond, like, just like have you seen King Diamond?
I
live
have
ever,
I'm
Brett?
going to see Merciful Fate in November,
Okay,
so I'm
cool.
looking forward to that.
I'm sure Merciful Fate will be cool. I strongly suspect that it'll be a lot different from his like solo shows, just because like I'd expect it to be more of a typical like
It'll be like a band, right? Like,
Right.
Like King Diamond Live there's like a whole stage show, like and he,
Say like scenes going on
it's
in between
kind of
songs. and
like
whatnot.
when they made the Green Day songs into a Broadway for a play. Like it's like like he picks his best song, he plays the hits, but
Like,
like
honey, when are you going to work? I don't want to go to work. I want to be an American idiot. 2, 3, 4.
So I'm being serious when I say
there are
this.
actors, like there's actors on stage who don't sing.
Okay.
In King Diamond's
Okay.
show.
As somebody who has
And
seen
like we talked about earlier, fucking death metal fans are loving it, which is great.
as a guy who's been to like loads of metal shows and has also literally gone and seen shows on Broadway, the King Diamond show reminded me more of seeing a show on Broadway than going to see a metal show. Like, just the amount of theatricality, like this giant multi-tiered 3-story like house that they basically built on stage for the presentation, him going up and down stairs all over this thing, creepy women dancing, and like just all kinds of craziness.
We were talking about like Welcome Home, or we were singing parts of it earlier, right? Like during that part, some old lady's wheeled out in a chair, and he's like just singing to an old lady in a
Whoa.
chair.
Does he help her out of her
He
chair?
does help her out.
Oh
of the
my
chair!
God.
Ah!
Let me touch you. Let me feel.
Yeah, we were gonna do that in a band at one point.
Well, let me.
Drummers, hit us up. We still need one.
I was telling Mario, I've actually been playing drums. I'm getting pretty good. I'll start practicing my King Diamond.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, like the King Diamond stuff, where it sucks trying to play the shit because it's like Merciful Fate's just hard to play. It is, and I'm a pretty decent guitar player, but like Merciful Fate is just it's next level shit. But King Diamond is more in the pocket. The riffs are more like based on like the kick drum, like the ones and threes and stuff. But then you have Andy LaRock playing these crazy solos. I'm like, shit.
Fuck you, Andy LaRock.
Like, cause like there's some bands, you know, like if you were to play like a fucking Motorhead song, you could just play any fucking solo, right? Where like with like King.
Well, I'd say Slayer.
Well, Slayer, you just
Slayer, you can play
noises.
fucking anything.
Yeah, you just do whatever you want.
As long as your guitar's still plugged in.
You whip out your dick and run it all along the fretboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Murder face style.
But like, but with King Diamond, like the solos are just as memorable, so you have to actually learn them, and that takes time. Because Andy LaRock fucking rules. But anyway, it's anyway. Learn the drums, and we'll fucking do it.
Okay. All right.
So. Anyway, Mastodon ruled. Ghost was cool. You didn't go see Deicide, but
Right, decided against it.
yes.
Fuck you. That sucked. I'm mad at me myself for laughing at that.
That's the response I want to get as a comedian.
I made that
It's fuck
joke
you.
earlier, and no one laughed.
I feel like that's the response you want to get from this podcast.
Yes. So
So send your emails of fuck you to bradmariopod@gmail.com.
yeah, or just bradmariopod@gmail.com. But Mike, plug your shit, dude. You got a wrestling podcast, right? So Michael Brady's a guy who we know, and
So when did you start this podcast?
Okay, so yeah, I can go ahead and plug my shit.
and what's the deal with wrestling? Make a pitch for why people should watch wrestling in 2022.
Sure.
I mean, we have comedy and metal, two great things. Why should we add in wrestling?
Okay. So what I love about wrestling is that in 2022, wrestling is exactly like politics, but with none of the stakes. And I'm still hoping that one day, hopefully by 2030 or so, we have a presidential debate end with President to be Dwayne the Rock Johnson actually rock bottoming his debate opponent through a table. Hopefully a decrepit Donald Trump by that point, who I'm sure will still be running if he can.
I mean, he'll really, really throw down the people's elbow. That's
Absolutely. I'm hoping.
It will represent the people.
So no, in all seriousness, I make that comparison because I remember Mario and I one day were literally like in 2016, just randomly watching wrestling one night when the presidential debates were about to come on, and we were like, "Hey, why don't we just switch over to the Republican primary debates? It's pretty much the same thing, right? Ha 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 ha." And we cut over to just Trump going full pro wrestling on everybody, and we were like, "We didn't think we'd be this accurate."
Ted Cruz's wife is ugly. Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
So yeah.
It's Shane Gillis bit. Yeah. No, I know you can do this.
So with wrestling, it's a bunch of overgrown man children yelling at it and threatening each other. Only it doesn't affect your life at all, and so it's just hilarious and fun and over the top and kind of dumb.
And the acrobatics of it are pretty cool, right?
Oh, wrestling's also come a long way in the last like 20, 30 years. Like guys do like crazy flips now. Like back in the day, guys would just do body slams and stuff. Unless you looked into like super underground stuff where guys were doing crazy stuff. Now on national television every week, you have guys who will like grab someone and do a front flip and then pile drive them. Like it's crazy.
Which is a move I only say for the bedroom. So Mike, what's your wrestling podcast called, and where can people find it?
All right, so if you want to hear me and my buddy Evan yak about
Evan,
wrestling.
Speaking of crossing over from metal and shit, Evan is bass player in Servants of the Mist, which is a local doom, funeral doom band who fucking rule, and we've gone on tour with them.
They put the fun in the funeral doom.
They actually do, yes.
Yeah, I actually met Evan through local music scene here, and we started talking about wrestling, and that's kind of where this podcast came from. So at Working Stiffs, we started last year, originally just kind of doing like weekly recaps for the most part of stuff that was going on in the wrestling world, but and we've had fun with it, but we realized recently that there's a million different podcasts that do that. So now we focus more on we put out podcasts a little bit more often, or less often, sorry, every 2 to 3 weeks or so. And we focus more on doing deep dive stuff on stuff that we find interesting. We just did a show, our last one we recorded, which I believe is up now. Evan does the editing and uploading. So I don't know. Don't look at me. Check our Spotify. It should be up there.
You guys
by
are
now.
on Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it was on a very weird pro wrestling show that took place in Japan in the Tokyo Dome in 2009. And it was just weird because you had a bunch of guys on it from the last generation, from like the 90s, like Kevin Nash and like Kurt Angle and guys who were like in the NWO and with Hulk Hogan and stuff.
Those
Yeah.
are the names I remember. That was
Yeah.
like the end of my era.
Yeah, it was a show where you had them wrestling against guys who like still wrestle now, but were like super young. So it's a weird like passing of the torch moment that happened in Japan in 2009 randomly.
Huh.
With like just a bunch of both like Japanese and American talent all over the show. So we just decided to do like a big focus in on that, like where things were at the time, where they've gotten since then. And that's more what we're trying to do going forward, as far as just bringing to the public like little gems, like little interesting stuff that's happened in wrestling that maybe people wouldn't necessarily be as aware of. Our next one that we're about to do is we're just doing a deep dive on wrestlers in movies, or wrestlers starring in movies, and just ones that are interesting.
Mr. Nanny, of course, being the top.
Nope, we're not doing any of that shit.
What?
Hulk Hogan's movies are garbage. We're staying the hell away from those. Nothing
I mean,
on Hogan.
how do you go away from the holy grail of wrestler movies, Mr. Nanny?
Look, the holy grail of wrestler movies is John Carpenter's They Live, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper. And that one fucking rules.
Really? I did not know that.
That's the movie where the line, "I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble gum."
That's
from that?
Yeah. And Roddy Piper proceeds to cock his shotgun and blow like 12 people away.
whoa. What was that movie called again?
They Live. Go watch
They
it.
Live. I'm watching that tonight.
One of the best John Carpenter movies. It's not nearly as good as The Thing, which I think is my favorite John Carpenter movie, but it's way up there.
Here's another wrestling movie then, okay? Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Andre the
Andre the
Giant.
Giant. Yeah, that one counts. It's I love that movie. Also a great movie. I think again we're gonna try and focus on some slightly more obscure stuff that's interesting. Like there's one of the most popular wrestlers in Japan right now, Hiroshi Tanahashi, actually starred in a movie that got some press over in Japan. You wouldn't have heard about it over here, obviously.
Okay.
But it's literally called My Dad is a Heel Pro Wrestler. And
he's the guy who looks like a Power Ranger villain, right?
Yeah. Yes, correct. With big flowing hair and
I'm not saying that because he's Japanese. Look him up, you'll see. Yeah.
He's got the blue skin and the gold helmet and
Pretty
the
much.
well, no, it's more along the lines that he's no, I think you're thinking of Jushin Thunder Liger as the villain looking guy. He looks more like a Japanese superhero. Like, despite the fact that he's in his 40s, he has beautiful long flowing hair and he's big and muscular and
Okay, so he looks kind of like me, but Japanese.
the point is he looks really fucking good for his age. And so it was probably only a matter of time before he started in something. But anyway, we're going to be looking into movies like that and some other stuff that Evan's been digging into and picking up. And we'll be talking about some cool, again, some deep cuts, some movies that you probably haven't heard of that might be super cool and that you should maybe check out. We'll let you know if you should check them out or not.
Okay.
Cool. And Evan was telling me he wants to, because Evan actually was one of the people laughing at my attempt at comedy at the Brass Mug. So he was saying he wants to try comedy. So I know he's got opinions on comedy and metal.
Comedy and metal.
So we'll be doing some crossovers.
Crossover thrash.
Fuck yeah. I was thinking about this for a segment, not for today, but for the future. Crossing out the crossovers, where we just like talk about weird crossovers of like metal and various genres, and also comedians who have like gone into other things. Like if there's comedians who've, gone into like cooking, for instance, or like, just like, or serious roles. Like Tom Papa bakes bread now, right? Like
He does?
yeah.
How'd you hear that?
He shows up on NPR occasionally.
I thought of one here's an example. Noel Felding. He's a British comedian. He's on like the IT Crowd and Mighty Boosh and a bunch of these British shows. Very famous comedian over there. He's a young, like hip comedian kind of guy. Of course, now he's old as fuck, but so he's on the British Baking Show.
Oh, like the Great British Bake Off?
The Great British Bake Off or whatever. He's like one of the co-hosts. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting to see that. Like, and
Yeah.
one of the other co-hosts was also this like short, fat, bald dude who was on it's like Great Britain or something like that. It's some British comedy sketch show they brought to HBO, and it was like the fucking weirdest sketch show I've ever seen.
Hmm.
A lot of male nudity in it,
Nice.
so it's like that's why it didn't catch on. Kind of the same reason with the New Kids in the Hall. Did you see the New Kids in the Hall?
Oh, it's gonna catch on now that you've let everybody know about all the dicks in it.
Well,
The widely famous and popular
one of their
Metal is
famous-
Comedy is Metal podcast.
one of the famous skits they did was they're like these
Comedy
two
is Metal is Comedy.
these two
I forget the name
bodybuilders.
of
They're
this
wearing a
podcast.
bodybuilder suit, but they have a extremely small penis. So they're in the gym, like rubbing each other down, like, "Oh yeah, look how strong I look! Look at like, oh, look at that, it looks good." Like they're complimenting each other's body, but they have, that's the joke.
Ah, okay.
So,
For it.
wasn't really the best show, but the best sketch from it though is
This sketch.
they do one where the bald guy is like plays a little girl, and she's going off on the bus. She's waiting for the bus, and the mom's like, "I love you more than butterflies." Like, "I love you more than ice cream." Okay, "I love you more than sunshine." He's like, "I love you more than double penetration."
Yeah.
It's like, what? Where'd you learn that? It's like saying all these
Okay.
vile things.
That's not vile. That's
Well, for a little kid to say like
oh yeah. That's right.
gangbangs and bukkake.
I thought you were talking about a little kid.
No.
Sending their grown adult child to school. on the
They're
bus.
grown men, but they're playing characters
Oh,
in,
okay,
a
gotcha.
skit sketch.
What's the name of this show?
Little Britain.
Little Brit.
Little Britain.
Interesting.
So that little bald dude is also another host on the show.
Okay.
So like a guy from their comedy world, you're like, if you were just watching it, apropos of nothing, you'd be like, "Oh, who's that guy? Just some British guy."
Gotcha.
But to me, I'm like, that's the dude from that show. He's a famous.
I feel like
British
whenever there's a
comedian.
British person I don't recognize who's famous for something, I assume they're a comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just like I'm like, you're probably from like some fucking show. Monty Python or whatever.
Just assume they're either a comedian or a member of One Direction and flip a coin.
Or royalty. I tried, dude, like, I want to go out to some open mics now because I'm sure someone has a great take on the Queen dying. I can't think of a good joke.
God.
The only thing I can think of is like, well, the Queen died. Does anybody care? That's not really funny. And then I was thinking, like, there's
Yeah.
something about, like, people are like, oh, she was a champion for women because she was a mechanic. She would work on her Land Rovers. And I'm like, well, have you ever met anyone who owns a Land Rover who's fun to be around? Like, they tend to not be cool.
What's a Land Rover?
It's a fucking fancy British car.
Like that's a model, brand name or whatever? Like
Yeah, it's a
Chevy?
brand name. They're like really expensive Jeeps, basically.
Oh.
And
Was
they're
it-
like, but they're like luxury too. Like it's just like it's rich people shit. Like it's
So she worked on her own cars?
so in
like-
World War II supposedly, but like maybe she did. I don't fucking know. But I guess like the joke would be like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of funny that people are trying to like say what a hero she is, when it's just like she's just a rich lady who.
I just kind of thought just
You
now,
know.
like, isn't she emblematic of how the world kind of wants to see women like get, like they want to be famous and respected,
These
but
women want to be famous,
but not actually give them any power or any real responsibility. Like, just wear your crowns and jewels and we'll handle the lawmaking and whatever. You just look pretty and go in the
Dude,
parades.
that's an interesting take, because a lot of people are trying to make like her into like a feminist icon, but I think
What'd she do?
But that take is good, and,
Yeah.
and it's not a take because like what I like about that take is it's not you shitting on her, it's you saying like she was stuck in this situation where it's like just be pretty, shine your jewelry. No,
Right.
we'll handle the rules though.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take. I like that. Make it a joke, dude.
See, right now it's too political. It's like it's too much of like
Yeah.
a political
But,
opinion.
Oh, and we were talking about before,
And
like when it comes to-
capitalism.
What's that?
The problem is that
What's the deal with that?
No, that's stupid though. Look, here's what annoys me about all this shit nowadays is that stuff like that didn't necessarily used to be super political, right? Like the definition of political is expanded into
Right.
shit that it never was before.
Because of shitty people saying that, right? We don't have to. We can resist it.
Like
We can hate the Little Mermaid because fuck mermaids.
Well, like, or Ron DeSantis sends those migrants up to Martha's Vineyard, and they're like, why is it political that we have to politicize these people? Like, just take them in and get them fed and help them on their way. But he's using them as a pawn to go like, oh,
Yeah.
Right. Like my thing is more so like I don't want to say anything stupid here because
But
I'm
you're
not
about
gonna. Well, no, I'm not gonna say anything stupid like.
You just spoke
like
about wrestling
race-
for like 20
we're an hour and a
minutes.
half into the
I
podcast.
think
This
I
is
was
the
gonna
spot for
say
stupid shit.
I was just about to make an example. Okay, like race. I'm not gonna say
boy.
I'm not gonna say that race has never been political because that would obviously be stupid. But the discussions about race are like political now in like a different sense than they used to be when we were younger. Like in the 90s, if a black person got cast on something, nobody cared. Right? Like it wasn't some big stink about like, oh, well, like you cast a black person in this instead of such and such a person, or like it didn't really matter what race a person was back then. Now, granted,
Well,
black actors didn't get cast in as much stuff back then either. I'm just saying that like people have gotten all up in arms over shit that used to be like.
well, it's just everyone has a voice now, right? That's
Yeah.
the problem. Everyone has a voice. So people did. I guarantee you, when there was like a black Captain America in like the 90s in the comic books, I guarantee you there were people who were like, "Well, I'm done with Marvel now,"
Right.
but they didn't have Twitter. That those people did exist.
Right.
Um,
I guess that's the better way to put it, is that like the outrage machine didn't exist then the way it did now. So like generally speaking, stuff would happen, and if people got upset about it, it'd just like blow over quickly, right?
Well, think
Sure.
about
I don't know.
the thing
Dude,
about the
we're-
bathroom wall, and people write on the wall and write crazy shit on the walls. That's what the internet is.
my
has
favorite
become. It's just
bathroom
the
wall
biggest
thing ever.
bathroom wall in the world.
There was what was it? CDB's, the bar near USF. It's like a wing house and bar. My favorite bathroom wall thing ever. Someone wrote "Art is resistance," and then someone else put an F in front of it.
Art
Fart-
is resistance.
Fart is that's funny. Art is resistance. What a genius. That's good. That's good. Oh yeah, real quick. Crossover shit we were talking about before. Why don't black metal artists use 12-string guitars, dude?
Oh,
Like that'd be so fucking cool, man.
um,
I got a 12-string guitar
Yeah,
and I was
okay.
playing it
we're getting
through
to the 12-string guitar section.
I was playing it
of the
through
podcast.
the distortion, and I was playing like some black metal riffs, and it sounded awesome. And I was like, why doesn't fucking like, I don't know, Bathory or someone fucking have like a double neck guitar like Jimmy Page, except for playing the fucking tremolo picks on the 12-string
Yeah.
part? That would sound awesome.
Well, my reaction first off was like, well, first of all, this is an acoustic guitar, and
They make 12-string
acoustics
electrics.
don't really work in the black metal. It's very rare to get acoustic. But yeah, I think I'm sure Bathory's used the 12-string on one of their albums. It's like it's probably been done, but it's not a prominent thing. You're right. Like I think some of those bands that do have the acoustic
Like,
parts could
There's
use
a
the
lot of
12-string.
symphonic
Yeah.
black metal, dude. Like Mayhem. Mayhem's most recent shit is symphonic as hell and dark as fuck too.
Well, I wouldn't say symphonic as hell. There are some symphonic parts, but they're couched in. They're not like Dimmu Borgir, where it's
No,
way
yeah,
up
that's
at the
true.
top.
Well, yeah, Dummy Burgers, they're just annoying with it.
Yeah, Mayhem's their new stuff's okay.
Yeah, I like
They're
it.
kind of riding off their classic shit. Like they toured on The Mysteries so many times. Ridiculous.
It's a demystery.
And someone popping in. Who
Is
is that?
someone there?
A wild lady appears.
I wonder if it's the ghost of someone's grandma.
Hey.
Hi.
A second pop in on the podcast? Can it be?
Hi, I have stupid opinions.
Oh, sorry. They're not allowed on here.
So- they're only stupid. They're not absurdly dumb like ours.
What do you think about 12-string guitars and black metal?
Yes.
She's for it.
All right.
She's on your side, Mario.
Hell yeah.
No surprise there.
All right. Well, so we're at an hour 40. We should probably.
Yeah, nobody's listening at this point, so
No,
let's wrap
not
it up.
even me. I stopped listening a while ago.
We'll discuss the 12-string thing later. Put more thought
Yeah.
into that. That's a good I'm just kidding. It's a
I
terrible
might
subject.
cut this right at where like the last time we all laughed and just end it there. So
Timing his fucking podcast.
All right.
Just like talking until he's fucking tired of the sound.
well, here's the never started to sound my own voice. I am tired of talking though.
He's like when he runs out of saliva, he's like, "Well, time to end the podcast."
Yeah, that's how the pros do it, man.
Yeah. So.
Oh well, there was one more we had our subjects.
Oh God, is it a fast one? Lightning subjects.
lightning round? Okay, so we did the black metal thing. Cool shows lately, and
Sam Morrill is a comic who loves the Tampa area. He's got a special on Netflix. It's great.
oh yeah, I haven't watched that one
It's
yet.
very
It
good.
was good.
It's
Good? Okay.
It's quite good. But what were you gonna say?
Oh, Patton Oswalt's new special comes out.
Oh, no shit.
In a couple of days on Netflix. So looking forward to that. The other subject was talking about your shitty drum programming. And the topic is, so this, we'll say this for next week. The topic is digital drumming, drum machine programming, realism versus
Right.
technicality.
So, and when guitarists write their own shit and they get a hold of the digital drums and we write drums the way we want to hear drums, not the way some fucking drummer ever wants to play it.
You see the way the problem is, and this I've had experience with this before because I used to write my own drums like that, and a lot of things you don't realize is that a lot of drumming uses different levels of hits, so you have to like really have a strong hit, weak hit.
I do that.
I mean,
but maybe not enough. Because I also go in.
you do it on the bass drum, the hi hat.
Yeah, I go in
every
and
instrument?
I also move things off center, which there are programs you can get that'll do that for you. But I go in and I move things off center a bit to make it more human, and I fuck with the volumes, but maybe not enough is what
I
you're
think.
saying.
That's the whole point of this conversation was when I was like saying.
That
They
takes you
sound
out of it,
they
right?
sound manufactured, they sound programmed, so it takes me
Right.
out of it. I'm like, that's clearly programmed. It's like some bands actually like work into that, like Mortician or the Berserker. A lot of those bands like want to sound that way, but if you're trying to sound authentic, you want to have a more laid back drumming, more
Right. Which
can't-
is it? Cattle Decap? That's all. No. Like what's?
they'd be another example. Of
Are they all programmed
they're
though? Like-
no, they're live though. Their drummer's just
Okay.
that sick. I mean,
Okay.
he's just that fucking
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Dude, like Gene Hoglan used to play when he was in Strapping Young Lad. He used to have ankle weights on for most of the show so that he could take them off for I forget which Strapping song. It might have been Skeksis or something. I don't remember which song, but so that he could take them off for one song where he was playing even faster double bass than usual.
Okay, that's just fucking cool right there.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's like you guys ever watched Dragon Ball Z?
No,
Oh.
I've never heard of it. What is it?
It's just it's a cartoon.
I'm fucking kidding you.
Oh. But Goku is his uniform, or whatever, is like it's weighted.
Oh.
So he takes off the uniform. It's like, oh shit! Now
That's what it
getting
sounded
real.
really good.
If you're fighting naked Goku, you are fucked.
Yeah. I recently went and saw the movie they came out with, the Piccolo movie, and it was
Any good?
okay. But I mean, I felt very weird going to see it at the theater, like a completely empty theater by myself, watching a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Was it a cartoon? Or?
Yeah, all animated.
Oh wow!
So-
Did it look like the original animation?
Yeah, I mean it's brand new. Like it's well done.
Sweet.
It was good, but I'm like, this was a waste of money. It's like I probably gonna wait until it came out on TV or whatever. But
Okay.
I
So
was just
yeah,
bored,
so
you know.
so next week or whenever we do this again, we'll talk more about comedy. We'll talk a little bit more about metal, and we'll maybe talk more about some drum machine techniques.
And hopefully talk about our 2 shows back to back on Monday.
Yes, let's do that, and maybe others throughout the week. Maybe not. I don't know. In the meantime, check out the Working Stiffs Wrestlecast if you like that sort of thing, and
Don't check out Ghost because they suck.
listen to Rip Torn.
Well, if Spotify ever puts it back on, they took it down,
They
man.
took it down.
Yeah, and I paid
What the fuck?
earlier this month. I paid $50 for the yearly renewal, and it's not back up. I'm actually working with them right now to get it.
It's because you
on there.
went woke, dude.
Probably.
Rip
Oh no!
Torn
Am I
went
getting
woke.
canceled?
I love when my dad talks about getting canceled, and I'm like, from what? You didn't do anything. You retired. You canceled yourself.
My Sports Illustrated has been canceled.
Okay, on that note, we're going to cancel this episode. Y'all have a good day and or week
And night,
and or year.
month. Metal and comedy.
Freaking a bird.
Sensor.